Hello, second grade. For this next project, we're going to be creating peace sign art to remember Martin Luther King Jr. So make sure you looked at all those slides about Martin Luther King Jr. And then make sure you listen to the read aloud story called I Am Peace. It's a book of mindfulness, so it talks about being mindful and different meditation. All right. And it also has some really great artwork in it. Okay, so for our peace sign art, I used watercolor paints and a black marker. You can use whatever kind of art supplies you have at home. So if you wanted to color it with marker, you could do crayon, oil pastel, okay? But I'm going to do it, my step-by-step video in watercolor paints. Okay, so what we will start with is a piece of white paper and a pencil. For the peace sign in the middle of your paper, what I did is I found a lid shaped as a circle, and I just put it right in the middle of my paper, and I traced it. You could also just freehand your circle if you have nothing to trace over, that's okay. Don't worry about it being perfect. Okay, and then you're just gonna draw the peace sign. So it's a line down the middle, a line on the side, and then another line on the side. So if you look at mine here, you'll notice it's a little thicker on the lines, right? So we're gonna do that. So first I'm just going to trace over my circle in a black marker. Okay, then I'm going to make it look a little bit thicker. So I'm adding a line here, a line down here, and I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side. Okay, so I'm just following those pencil lines that I made for the peace sign. Just connecting the lines here, and there is my peace sign. Okay, so for the lines around it, I used a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you can even just use a piece of paper to trace, and you can just make as many lines as you want. Just remember, you're gonna be coloring in every section, okay? So I wouldn't make them too close together. And I'm just following that ruler, making one line at a time. And I'm trying my best to make the spaces somewhat equal, okay? Don't worry if it's not perfect. And if one space is a little bigger or smaller than the other, it's okay. And I'm just going around my entire picture. All right, just a few more. I'll do 2 more lines. 1, 2. All right, there are my lines in the background. So now we can start painting. In my final piece here, I decided to leave the peace sign white, and I just did a little splatter paint over it, and I will show you how we could do splatter paint. So for when you're watercolor painting, if you're deciding to use watercolor for your art medium, you'll need a water bucket and a paper towel. Okay, so this is for when you want to switch colors, and then when you switch colors, you can kind of dab it on your paper towel a little bit, just get that brush nice and clean. All right, so before I start, I'm actually noticing I have a lot of pencil lines. I'm just gonna erase my pencil lines because like I said, I wanna leave my peace sign white, so I think it'll be a good idea and make it look nice and complete if all those pencil lines are erased. Okay, so I'm gonna start with red. So what I'm doing is dipping my brush in water and then adding the water to my watercolor here. And I'm going to fill in one section at a time. All right, so there's my red. And then if you want to do a rainbow, you can. I did a rainbow in my other project, my final one. So then we need some orange. Oops, I got a little drip there. Paper towel is also good if you get paint where you don't want it. You can just dab it up like that. So now I'm doing my orange. So for the sake of not having this video go on and on, I'm not going to paint the whole thing. That way it's not too long of a step-by-step video. So you guys get the idea, right? So you're painting each section or you're coloring, whatever you're using. So if you're using marker, you'll color each section. If you're using crayon, same thing. You'll just color every section one at a time. Paint, same thing. Then you'll clean your brush if you're using watercolor. So for the splatter paint, you'll need a lot of water. So here, I'll use this nice purple magenta color, purpley pink. You need a lot of water in there. So then after you get your brush all filled up with water and paint, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna tap it. You see that? And you can just do your watercolor wherever you'd like. And then when you're done with that color, same thing, you'll clean your brush, load it up with some water. Next I'll do a little bit of blue. So load your brush up and then tap it. All right. So then when you're all done, it'll look something like this. All right, bye everyone. I can't wait to see your finished pieces, and make sure you upload a photo of your work when you're all done.